on, everybody? Wednesday, November 28th, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 game slate. Almost did that math in advance. It looks like a fun slate. It looks like a much more fun slate than yesterday. And yesterday did not shake out like I would have liked. Just an absolute brutal beating. So today's going to be the day.
Yesterday went exactly like I thought it was going to when it was a 5-game slate with the Knicks and the Hawks and the Heat and the Pacers and the Pistons. Didn't go well money-wise, but it went exactly like I expected it to.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The best part of today, though, will be Liverpool playing in the Champions League. Suck it, sure. PSG. That's all that matters to me today. I'm being perfectly honest. Oh, man. Anything good? Do you take anything good out of yesterday?
No.
Okay.
Domantas Sabonis is really good at basketball.
Yeah.
If he ever plays more than 24 minutes a night, it's going to really be a problem in DFS.
Yeah. I took a nice stand saying that I had none of him yesterday. That went swimmingly.
Yeah. I had him in my main lineup in the highest buy-in tournament I played. He got me to the bubble.
I had him at 26 minutes with a max, a ceiling projection of I think it was 50. I mentioned it in Slack today. He played 22 minutes and hit 46 or something. I was like, okay, if he got those 4 minutes, he would have been right at what I projected for his ceiling.
Yeah, I only had him projected for 26 minutes too, but I think I had him projected for 40 something fantasy points.
That's insanity, and exactly right.
Yeah, it's amazing how just efficient he is on a permanent basis.
Go Drummond.
I didn't end up with much of him, but just that was frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, look, I preferred Jokic on FanDuel because he was $1,500 cheaper. It didn't matter. That Drummond performance was dreadful. I opened my phone. I wasn't really paying attention. And I was like, Drummond's got 20, whatever. I was like, there's 7 minutes left.
Yeah. I had, even on DraftKings, I had a ton more Jokic, but it's not like he did much either. He obviously lost minutes in the blowout.
Yeah. That's DFS for you, man. It was Alonzo Trier at the top of my list of regrets.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's a good takeaway. Not that it was something we didn't already know, but when the Knicks are playing on shorter slates, especially where ownership's going to be driven up, just force yourself to play the guy that isn't 30% owned from that rotation.
Yeah.
We can talk all we want about how Trey Burke has monster upside because he does, and how he's probably the best play out of that group. But if with the ownership breaking out the way that it always does, because everyone feels the same way, if you just played Trier and Moutier when they're going to be 5% to Burke's 30% every single slate, there's no way you don't come out ahead.
On the live stream last night, I was getting ready to finalize my 3 max. I was like, oh man, Alonzo Trier's popping up a lot in these things. I'm just going to pull him out. I don't trust this. Boop, boop, boop. Done.
It's just so crazy how our brains work, because we don't trust Trier, but we trust Burke.
Yeah.
When we know that there's certainly a path to Trier doing, they're going to play hot hand. We know that. Yeah. And we're just I trust Burke. I don't trust this guy for $1,100 or $900 less.
Exactly. I don't know. I had no reason to even, and especially on FanDuel, I had no reason to have an aversion to it. I just did from a purely visual standpoint.
Yeah.
So maybe I
didn't play FanDuel yesterday, and now that you mentioned that, I'm pissed off about it because I did run FanDuel lineups, and he was my punt in most of them.
Yeah, it went super well. We have ownership yet? Let me take a look. Nope, not yet. I assume it's coming. We're going to talk about Thrive today. Got a big Awesemo branded contest on Thrive. They are our presenting sponsor on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to finish off the show today taking a look at the Awesemo sponsored contest. I have it up on the screen right now, but we'll do a couple picks while we close it out. Today is an either or. They call it versus. So give you a little preview of the first one. Kemba Walker or Joel Embiid total points. It's all 1v1s for different stat categories. I've got the sheet loaded up and ready to go with my projections. We can compare people really quickly, take a look at it. And I'm going to be in that tournament, taking all your cash. Get ready for it, people.
I was just hustling you with that 1-4 start. I'm taking this tournament down.
Side bet?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll think about it. We'll let everybody know. I'm in. I'm sure we'll both finish dead last.
You're probably tied.
I think that'd be perfect. Let me scroll back here. Let me drop the link in. If you use the code or the link bit.ly/ThriveStrat, which I'm not going to lie, is a really difficult thing to say. Saying thrive and then getting to the S doesn't roll off my tongue. I get all tongue-tied. I feel like Charlie Day when I say it. If you use that link to sign up, you can get a $10 bonus on a $10 deposit. You get a $20 bonus on a $100 deposit and a $50 bonus on a $200 deposit. It's a really, really decent bonus structure. So if you're looking to try out a different game, taking a look at NBA player props, I think this one's for you. Everybody who signs up gets a $2 credit to enter that Awesemo branded contest for free. The buy-in for the tournament is $2. So if you sign up, they'll cover your buy-in. Can't really beat that, can you? Nope. Adam, you want to break this down? You ready to talk?
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty. First game up should be a barn burner. The Charlotte Hornets taking on the Atlanta Hawks. 122 implied total for the Hornets, 110 for the Hawks. 12-point favorites. Hornets with the second highest implied total on the entire slate. Kemba Walker, finally more expensive on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. 9,700. He's 9,300 on DK. This is sort of the same stance I have on Kemba every single day. I can play him in a GPP, and that's fine. He's starting to get to a price point where it's really a tough sell for me.
Yeah, that being said, I haven't projected incredibly highly here, at least on DraftKings at 9,300. I mean, yeah. He's coming in at like just with my baseline stuff. Like I haven't updated any. I haven't fine-tuned anything, but just with baseline stuff, if I project him for 36 minutes, he's popping at like almost 54 DraftKings points. So
yeah, I have him at 51.
Yeah, so I mean that's to the point where like it's a good play even at 9,300.
Yeah, I'll never complain. I got 13% of them on my first crunch. This goes back to what we were just talking about with the Knicks. Like I just have a mild mental bias of not thinking that Kemba Walker can like pay off that price tag. But 97, he's the second most expensive point guard on FanDuel behind Russ. More expensive than Dame, Ben Simmons, John Wall. I wouldn't be able to get to a lot of volume of Kemba, but he's not going to find a much better matchup than roasting Trae Young.
Yeah, no question about that.
Yeah. Jeremy Lamb, even with MKG back, still playing big minutes in this last game. I'm not really sure how to manage his minutes, but 6,600 on FanDuel, 6,400 on DK. Everybody on Charlotte looking like a pretty nice value. Do you like Lamb or anyone else here?
Yes and no. So I still like the upside that these guys bring. You know, Lamb, obviously, if he gets to 34 or 36 minutes, it's a great spot for him. One thing that I think is a little bit concerning because so in the Milwaukee game, like obviously Lamb still got a bunch of minutes. We got 37 minutes from Marvin Williams. None of like MKG being back didn't matter for those guys, but they played small a ton. Cody Zeller played 19 minutes. Frank Kaminsky played 4 minutes. They didn't have another center. So that, and against Milwaukee, you know, obviously Brook Lopez, Don Maker, and Ilyasova, you can, or whoever was playing the 5 for them that game, because I think Ilyasova was out. I guess Giannis, you can obviously go small. Like against Atlanta, not that you have to change your rotation for, you know, Alex Len and Dedmon and Spellman, but they just have a bigger front court than Milwaukee was going with. So I'd be a little bit concerned that you get back to, you know, Cody Zeller playing close to 30, Kaminsky maybe playing a little bit more off the bench. And that naturally that takes minutes away from Williams, which kind of takes minutes away from other guys down the line, including Lamb. So I think they're still risky, but I also think that there's still, you know, immense upside for these guys. at reasonable price tags, if they play well. It's just that I don't want to take too much away from that Milwaukee game. Like, oh, MKG being back doesn't affect anything, because that was one of the smallest rotations we've seen from Charlotte all season long.
Yeah, that's a good point. Atlanta isn't exactly short of bigs. They're short of like I can't even say that. They're not even short of like quality bigs. Len
Right.
and Dedmon and Colin, like they're all
The only good
fine.
players on their team are bigs.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So that's certainly possible. Don't really know what to make of Cody Zeller right now, but at 4,100 on DK, still looks like a very nice potential value. I would have no problem slotting him in, especially against Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going back to projecting him for like 28 to 30 minutes. Did that last game, obviously didn't work, but that's generally where he's been playing. And he could he's someone that could lose a couple of minutes with MKG back, because they've been playing Williams a few minutes a game at center, even excluding that Milwaukee game.
Yeah.
But I still think that you get 28 to 30, especially in this spot against the bigger front court. So yeah, I think Zeller, again, he's not someone that very often is going to give you like a tournament winning score, but where he's just so cheap on DraftKings at 4,100, and you can roster the two centers, you basically end up comparing him to guys at other positions, not to centers. And I think that makes him one of the better, 4K guys.
I agree. Christian G in chat, you don't need a promo code for the special at Thrive. As long as you follow that link that we posted a couple spots before your post, bit.ly/ThriveStrat. That's all you'll have to do. Any interest in Malik Monk at 3,300? It's 2 straight games now getting 20 minutes.
I don't hate it. Just don't play him with Kemba. Because for Monk, there's a couple of ways he gets there. One is that the game stays close. He plays really well, and he plays like over Jeremy Lamb to close, or he plays over Tony Parker to close. So that's one way he gets there. The other way is that the game blows out and he plays the entire fourth quarter. So I wouldn't want him with Lamb. I wouldn't want him with Kemba. I think you negatively correlate with those guys, Tony Parker as well. But if you don't have Charlotte guys in your lineup, I think that playing $3,300 Monk in those lineups makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I agree. At that price point, seeing him starting to get the minutes, a guy that could score in bunches if he gets hot, the type of flyer that I would like to take. Won't take a lot of exposure to Malik Monk to get above the field either, or at least it shouldn't.
Right.
If it does, then don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's to clarify, like he's still not someone that I would have any interest in, cash games or anything like that.
No,
because his minutes are still, just because he's played 20 minutes 2 games in a row, his minutes aren't any less volatile than these other guys. If you have the bigs playing more and you have everyone kind of shifting down a spot or shifting up a spot, then there's less minutes available for guys like Monk as well.
Agreed. If you see the note in chat right now, if you sign up for Thrive, if you email admin@thrivefantasy.com or DM them on Twitter @thrivefantasy, you can get that $2 credit. Won't cost you a dime, so you can get in that Awesemo branded tournament today. Anybody else you want to touch on specifically from Charlotte? I don't see it as a wholly appealing game, outside of being willing to take a shot at the ceiling of Charlotte, or at the ceiling of Kemba. It kind of bothers me that I don't like more guys on an individual basis here, but I think they're such a consistent team, generally speaking, that everybody's sort of priced where they should be.
DraftKings, I don't have FanDuel pricing in front of me, but DraftKings, I'm guessing the pricing is a little bit softer. I mean, Batum's 4,800, Williams is 4,500. Even if you give Williams 30 minutes instead of 37, he still comes in as a good value play. Batum, as much as I hate the guy, 34 minutes of Batum at 4,800 is perfectly fine. So this is a team where I just think that if I'm playing 150 lineups, I probably have like at least a Charlotte guy on most teams.
Yeah. So, Batum is 5,400. That's meh. Like it is what it is. Marvin Williams is 5,300. Lamb is 66. Cody Zeller is 5K. Like everybody's just kind of there. Most of this pricing is better on DK except for Lamb, right, where he's got a pretty elevated DK price point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually reflects in like my stuff. I also don't have him projected for enough minutes. But yeah, Lamb like projects on a per point per dollar basis is one of my least favorite guys on DraftKings.
Okay. Let's go to Atlanta, where they play today. I got to talk about the guy that I get the most of. It's the same guy I got the most of yesterday. Torian Prince, he's 5,700 on FanDuel, 5,100 on DK. I just can't stop him from popping up. Is he someone that you are looking at all, 5,100 for DraftKings?
Kinda.
Okay.
He doesn't really pop up that much for me, which I'm happy about. But I mean, he has played 32 minutes a couple games in a row now, which is like a huge accomplishment for anyone on the Hawks. So, I mean, that's been good to see. He's just been so disappointing, but the talent's still there. There's no reason that he's been as bad as he has, probably other than the guys he's playing with don't really do him any favors. So yeah, I mean, at that price tag, I have no issue with him in tournaments. He's just still impossible to trust because they still have a million bodies on this team that can take minutes, especially if he's playing poorly, and he just hasn't been that good anyway. But he can still go out there and give you over a point per minute at 5K.
Right. Yeah, he's I got him in 50% of my lineups on my first crunch. He was popping up a ton yesterday. I think it's just a function of a really awkward small forward spot.
Yeah.
So I like him. There's not much else that I'm loving on Atlanta, at least on FanDuel. DK, their pricing is all better. John Collins, $1,100 cheaper on DraftKings. Trae Young is kind of similar priced. Dwayne Dedmon, only 4K. Whatever we said for Cody Zeller is probably good for Dwayne Dedmon. Bazemore is slowly losing minutes, but still has a better price on DraftKings. If you're some sort of Bazemore guy today, you shouldn't be, but just in case you are. Everybody's just better off on DraftKings. Bembry at 4,200. What do you want to do with the rest of these clowns?
John Collins is appealing. He got power forward eligibility on DraftKings. That's huge. That makes John Collins just a totally different play than he has been since coming back. Since you can play him at power forward, he's only 6,100, which is reasonably priced. He contributes in every category, and he's pretty much locked into 30 minutes here. Obviously, one of the better players on Atlanta. He is talented. They're going to get him his minutes. So Collins is my favorite guy from the Hawks here, just because he has upside, but he also I just feel more comfortable with his minutes than I do with guys like Trae Young or even Torian Prince.
Yeah, at 6,100, I would have no problem at all. He's 7,200 on FanDuel.
Their pricing's been so good and aggressive this year. I guess probably to combat the fact that you can drop a guy.
Yeah.
Because Collins was like two games ago, Collins was just his price was a joke. He was 5K. I played him in 100% of like 150 lineups and felt fine with it. And then he's like 61 or 6,700 the next slate, and now he's over 7K.
Yeah, I can't. Like Aaron Gordon is $600 more expensive than him. Man, Montrezl Harrell is 8,300 on FanDuel today.
Yeah, their pricing has just been really good this year.
You call it good?
Well, different at least. Like DraftKings, it's more fun because like there's a million guys that you can be like, oh, I like this guy.
FanDuel's pricing has been more accurate.
Yeah, that's what I meant by good.
Yeah. So kudos FanDuel. I guess assholes. Yeah, I can't play John Collins for 7,200. I just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't play. I don't want to play Trae Young for 7,000. Prince is the guy that I would be looking at the most on FanDuel, and then maybe Len at 3,700 if I was throwing away center, but I don't really like throwing away center on a 10 gamer.
Yeah, Trae Young, obviously tournament wise, he's a very strong correlation play. Yeah. Like if you have Charlotte at home here as a 12-point favorite. If you're paying 9,300 for Kemba, you need those fourth quarter Kemba stats in a close game. Easiest way for this game to stay close is Trae Young to just go nuts from three.
Yep. Ownership is out, everybody. If you're interested, you can use the promo code NBA Strategy for a 7-day free trial. If you're interested, won't cost you a dime. Much like if you sign up for Thrive today, you get $2 to enter our tournament. You can't beat those sorts of deals. None of these things are costing you a single cent. Damn it. I do this every day. I open up our ownership. I paste the DraftKings ownership into my FanDuel table. I remember that I did it, and I hate myself. And then I wake up the next morning like I'm Bill Murray, and I do the same damn thing. Paste the DraftKings ownership directly into my FanDuel table. Oh, God. One day I'll learn from my mistakes. So Charlotte, quite popular. 20% Batum, 20% Zeller, 20% Marvin Williams, 15% Kemba. These are all DK, by the way. 12% Monk. Probably don't need to get those Monk shares any longer if he's 12%.
It depends on what value opens up. I mean, if we don't get 3,300 is just such a different price point than even like 3,800 or 4K.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if we don't get, just really, really good value opening up, I think that's still perfectly fine ownership.
I just don't trust Malik Monk.
Oh, neither do I. But the things that I like I don't trust him at all. But the matchup's great. There's multiple ways for him to get there. He himself is a high usage guy. It's not like it's a guy that you're hoping he gets the minutes and then that he doesn't stand in the corner. He doesn't really stand in the corner. So yeah, and 3,300 you don't need that much to be satisfied, and he can just blow it away. So I still think that it's fine. I don't trust him either though.
David Locke has a question, and I think you and I are going to have the same answer here, but I do want to bring it up because it's a good question. Well, he says dumb question, but it's not. He says, do you guys give ownership for cash games or just GPPs? In theory, it's the same. It's just more extreme.
Right. Yeah, so basically, in theory, the way it would work is that if you have someone that is going to be like 40% owned in tournaments, you're going to see them come in at like 70 or 80% in cash games a lot of the time.
Right.
But it still but for cash games, you don't need to know the exact percentage. You just kind of want an idea of, who at what price point is more popular so that you don't take massive ownership stands that you don't intend to take. So you can still use them in that way where, if Jeremy Lamb at 6,400 is projected for 40% tournament ownership and, I don't know, Dwayne Wade at 6,400 is projected for 2, and you have them projected for the same amount of points, you should probably be playing Lamb in cash and Wade in tournaments.
Perfect example. I knew you had it on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, I don't know why Dwayne Wade's 6,400, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah. This is the ownership is used the same way. It's just more extreme. If there's a guy in our ownership projections that's at like 2%, he is probably not someone you're looking to play in cash. There's no hard and fast rule for anything at all, but that's probably a good barometer of whether or not you should be playing him in cash. Anything else from this game?
No, pretty appealing one though.
It is. It really is. I want it to be more appealing.
Pair Kemba with Hawks. It doesn't have to be Young, but Prince, Collins, Young. I would want even Lynn, obviously not with Trey, but just someone from Atlanta that can get hot and score. I would want in Kemba lineups.
One last question before we go. Stacking Hawks forwards, smart?
What for? So not like if we're counting Dedmon and Len, like if we're talking about the front court, like you don't want those two together.
No.
I don't want Spellman ever. John Collins is good. Playing, yeah. It's weird because like Collins is in a totally separate category as a play than any of the other guys. Prince is fine. He's fine with Collins. He's fine without him. I'd probably rather not play them both.
Yeah.
But the centers are just totally different in that they're like borderline fringe plays.
Yeah, and like with Dedmon's price point at 4,000, I would never like fully say don't play him with. I mean, don't play him with Len, but like I don't have a giant problem if you play Dedmon and Collins together just because of Dedmon's price, but it's still not something I love to do. But as price goes down, I have less and less of a problem with playing people together.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
There's just, but on a 10-game slate, like the first place you look to stack up should probably not be like marginal Hawks forwards.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're playing like the early only or something, then you might have to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, in general, just like you don't want to play guys that back each other up and don't play next to each other. And the more expensive guys get, the riskier it is.
Speaking of guys that back each other up and how you shouldn't play them together, keep an eye out for Awesemo.com dropping an article about a similar topic. I believe it's probably Tom giving an answer for the ownership projections. He said, we only give ownership for GPPs. There's not much utility in ownership for cash games. There's no real game theory. Just play the best players. Pretty true. High value, yep. And generally speaking, guys that are also being looked at. To the Sixers we go. Philadelphia 76ers 120 implied total. The Knicks 107.5. 12.5 point favorites for Philly. I'm going to start on the Philly side where this is just absolutely incredible matchup. Joel Embiid 11-1 on FanDuel, 11-2 on DraftKings. That is an amazing price for Embiid in a matchup where the only thing that he has to do is just be boss on Cantor. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Love Embiid here. Josh needs to update his Wi-Fi. Yeah. Man, I'm hard plugged into this nonsense. You crazy.
Were you lagging for everybody? Because it did for me, and I just assumed it was me.
Oh, maybe I was. I have no idea. Nothing. I didn't notice it.
It just like skipped for a minute. I couldn't understand anything you said, but I assumed it was on my end.
We just dropped. We're dropping frames over and over again in OBS right now. That's not good.
So yeah, I mean, with Embiid back to 36 minutes against Brooklyn, his minutes had gone down the game before that, but it was good to see that, not really be a trend. Still playing, not as Butler played more minutes alongside Embiid with the second unit, which is a little bit annoying, but doesn't change a whole lot either. Still just, really, really good spot for Embiid. Cantor, obviously a good rebounder, but on the defensive end, he just doesn't really do anything that's going to slow down Embiid. If they put Mitchell Robinson in there, he's going to foul out in about 4 minutes, and then Cantor will be right back. So, yeah, excellent spot for Embiid.
Ruh-roh. Keeping an eye on this, but we just keep dropping frames. I don't want to, now would be the perfect time to stop this and restart it. For once, it's me. Ship me a new router, everybody. I think our best bet right now is to drop this and pop back on in 2 minutes once I refresh my router.
All right.
So, hey, everybody. We will be back in, 3 or 4 minutes. Probably going to be a different link. I'll drop it in the chat. I don't want this to be a problem for the rest of it. So, be right back, everybody.